And welcome back to the Germantown campus of Montgomery College. Michael Brown alongside my partner Marcus Rosano. And we're just about ready to get game 2 of our doubleheader underway. For those of you just tuning in, Montgomery College took the opener over Stevenson 7-5. So Montgomery College looking for a sweep here in the second game, and Stevenson will no doubt be doing everything they possibly can to prevent that from happening. And we are getting real close to getting ready to get underway here. Our starting pitcher out there for Montgomery College taking his warm-ups. And let's set the lineup for the Mustangs here.
Matt Myers leading off at second base for Stevenson really had a heck of a game in game 1. He went 4 for 4. The kid is a fantastic little hitter. Davis Grove and Garrett Seitz, again, are their two heavy hitters, if you would. But Myers is probably the one that really struck me as a great leadoff guy. He was on base, and he was a thorn in the side of Colin Cox all day in game 1.
And we've got MC out on the field. We'll set their defensive lineup in a moment. But the starting pitcher for the Raptors in the second game is number 10, J.P. Hoover. He is normally their closer and a reliever strictly, but they're trying to get him a few more innings. And like we talked about with all the games that Montgomery College has played in the last week or so, their pitching staff has been stretched pretty thin, and they need to get some innings out of J.P. Hoover today.
Yeah, J.P. Hoover, like you said, is a relief pitcher. He's only pitched 18 innings all season. He's given up 8 earned runs. He leads the team in saves. He's got 3 saves, good because he is a relief pitcher. He's also got 4 wins. So they're going to try to get as much as they can out of Hoover. I have a feeling we'll be going to the bullpen at some point today.
And we'll set the rest of the Raptors defensive lineup, but first we have the leadoff hitter, Myers, who was on fire in the first game. That's all you can say. The kid was 4 for 4, and every hit was a shot.
Yeah, Myers is a good hitter.
So we'll see what Hoover has as a starter. This will be his first start of the season. There's a sharply hit ground ball, foul down the third baseline. He has started one other game. I want to correct myself on that. He has pitched 18 2/3 innings, 3.86 ERA, 1-4, lost 1.
He's got 14 walks to 15 strikeouts, so that's going to be something to take note of.
Ground ball to short, throw to first. First up, first out. And let's set that lineup for Montgomery College if we can. In the infield, we have Jake Taylor at first. Second base, Max Heldman. Shortstop is Nick Kuzarski. Third base is number 28, Andy McWilliams. And we'll set the outfield here in just a second. And nice slow curve to number 40, Joe Carlino. And the outfield is Shook in left, Turlick in center, and Coleman in right. The catcher is Colin McMahon. And, of course, as we said, the starting pitcher for the Raptors, J.P. Hoover. And that one's way outside and gets past McMahon. McMahon is really the third catcher on the team behind he's behind Travis Smith, and he's also behind Miles Leader. And there's a ground ball to first. And, takes a bad hop and goes off one of Jake Taylor's bad ankles. He's got 2 bad ankles. Of course, you wouldn't have known it from that home run he hit in the first game. But
that was indeed a shot. Talking about the catchers, Miles Leader I think has a little bit of a sore shoulder, so he's sitting out today. And Travis Smith caught a heck of a game in Game 1, saved a run in the very scary last inning of the 7th inning, where MC almost gave up the game, but they held on.
Well, Dan Rasher's philosophy is you don't catch unless you absolutely are out of catchers. You would not catch the same guy 2 games in a row. That's hard on the body.
It is.
And he's got the catchers. There's a line shot down the left field line, and it's fair. Shook bobbles it a little bit, gets it into third base, and oh my gosh, the runner is dead to rights.
Yeah, that was Carlinio stumbled turning around second base. It probably would have been a lot closer a play if he did not fall. As you can see, Hoover got in on the hands, but it was still taken with a nice shot to left field.
Yeah, Grove really got around on that one.
And Matt Shook actually bobbled the ball in left field. It kind of ran away from our view from here, but Matt Shook bobbled the ball, so I guess that's probably why Carlinio tried to take third on it.
Little too aggressive there, and he runs himself into the out, the second out of the inning. Nice curveball. And this is number 24, Garrett Seitz, who had a nice first game, made a couple of nice plays at third base. This is a junior, and they're running. Ooh, up the middle, and under the glove of Kuzarski.
They did a little hit and run. When you have a left-handed pitcher, your back is literally to the guy leading off of second base. So he got a really nice jump, as you can see with the replay there.
And it just snuck under his glove. It just didn't come up. And that'll be a base hit and a run batted in for number 24, Garrett Seitz.
Hoover should be very, very accustomed to not going through a full windup, considering he comes in as a relief pitcher.
He could be one of those relievers that occasionally starts who pitches out of the stretch almost the whole time, but he's not doing that. But here's Kevin Wu, center fielder, and he pops it up foul out of play. 2 outs in the top of the first, and Stevenson jumping out to a quick 1-0 lead. And here we are in Game 2 of our doubleheader today on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in Germantown, Maryland, on the Montgomery College campus here.
It's beautiful outside, but I don't think it's very beautiful in the dugout with Coach Rasher. That 7th inning of Game 1, that was tough to swallow, and it starts off in the first inning of Game 2 with the error that leads to the run, where the ball went under Kazarski's glove at shortstop, and it was DeFrank, as we saw in the opening game, that had some problems in the 7th inning. But they got the win. But this isn't obviously this isn't where Dan wants to start off the Game 2 of a doubleheader against a 4-year school.
The curveball just missed.
Just missed. That looked good from back here.
Boy, it sure did. Our umpires today are Mike Burke, will be behind home plate, and Jerry Park will be calling the bases. They flip around from the first game to the second game. Park called balls and strikes in the first game, and now it's Mike Burke's turn. There's a sharply hit ground ball to Kozarski. He flips to second for the force, and that ends the top of the first inning. And Stevenson grabs a quick 1-0 lead. So Stevenson on top, and they'll be taking the field. And going to find out who their pitcher is going to be. It's going to be number 35, correct?
That is. It's Gudesblatt.
Gudesblatt.
That's a hard one to say.
That is a hard one to say.
Ben is his first name. That's easier.
Yeah. We may end up calling him Ben.
Can we do that, or is that against announcing rules?
I'm sure Mr. and Mrs. Gudesblatt wouldn't mind. But Ben may. Ben's a small guy.
Yeah.
was talking to him a little bit in the dugout before the game, before this second game started, and he was very, very curious about the fact that these games were going to be on YouTube. So I think maybe that amped him up a little bit when he realized that he was going to be on YouTube.
He's got a very over-the-top throwing motion, sort of like a almost doesn't come down below his body like a Tim Lincecum, but he throws over the top like Tim Lincecum.
And let's take a look at the MC batting lineup. They're just about to take their first hacks of the second game, and we see number 24 prominently displayed there, Marcus.
Yeah, as well we should. Jake Taylor hit an absolute laser shot over the center field wall in the first game, but that's what he's done. This is the 10th home run of the season. He's one heck of a slugger. He's a national leader in home runs, and you put him around guys like Turlick, and as we saw, Travis Smith, who's a heck of a hitter too. This is a dangerous lineup. And you have Matt DeFrank out there and Coleman. This is a good lineup, and there's an anchor, and that's big number 24.
Boy, he is the anchor, and of course his 3-run home run in the first game made the difference as MC came out on top 7-5. They needed every one of those. And
Matt Shook, also the left fielder, he had a good game too. Now, he played well in left field, but he was also in the midst of things in putting those 7 runs on the board.
Well, he was on base 3 times. Yeah. And this is Joseph Coleman, who came in as a pinch runner in the latter innings of the opener, and eventually scored a key run.
And he made some nice plays in right field as well.
He sure did.
And as we saw in the top of the 7th inning, those plays actually paid off as Stevenson made it close.
And Joseph Coleman is a journalism major, Magruder High School grad. Got several Magruder High School grads on this team, and he hits one to second base. Myers gobbles it up and gets it. Pretty close.
Close play. Coleman's quick down the line.
Very quick.
Got a little bit of advantage busting out of the left side of the batter's box, but he's quick.
That brings up second baseman Max Heldman, who had a fine first game at the plate. And he stands in against Gudesblatt.
I think you mentioned in game 1, Max Heldman, he's on base 50% of the time. That's a pretty good on base percentage.
Yeah, that ain't too bad. I think most managers would take that.
One thing about baseball, if you do something 50% good, that's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, when you think about it, 3 out of 10.
That's right.
You can sign a nice big fat contract in the major leagues.
Yeah, 30% will make millions.
And he hits a shot out to right. Right fielder gathers it in for the second out. That was Keith Pappas out there in right field. And that brings up big Jake Taylor. I think the interesting thing, or one of the interesting things about Jake was what happened the time after he got it, after the home run when he came up to the plate.
Yeah, that's if you're gonna walk them. They hit him, which essentially is a walk. Probably not what he wanted to do to get to first base. It's going to happen. They're going to want to crowd his hands. If you're 6'4" and you're as strong as this kid is, you get your arms extended, the ball's going to go really far. So they're going to want to crowd him. They're going to want to get the ball in on his hands so he can't extend those arms.
Takes the ball outside.
And he does line up a little bit closer to the plate as well.
Yeah, he's real close to the plate. He fouls it off.
Plate discipline, as Coach Rasher has mentioned to us, is what Jake's going to have to become better at, and he could be a great hitter. And he even said that he hasn't seen a player that is as strong and the bat jumps off his bat like it does. So if he can get some plate discipline, learn to be a hitter, the sky's the limit for this kid.
He rips one down the line, almost got his head coach there, Dan Rasher, with that one. You notice now that both the base coaches are wearing the helmets. Of course, that was due to that tragic incident in the minor leagues of a couple years ago when the first base coach was hit in the head and subsequently died. So now at all levels of baseball, the base coaches are wearing helmets.
And you have an aluminum bat here, and I think Jake's using a DeMarini. I remember growing up we used Easton's, and it didn't matter if it was the 90s or 2000s, 2012. These bats are like rockets, and those balls come off them fast and dangerous.
And there's a long, high fly out to left field. It is a home run. And a home run for Jake Taylor to tie the game. That's his second of the doubleheader.
11 home runs on the season.
And that was a no doubt about it shot to left field up into the trees there behind the fence.
And he's not getting much help from the wind. He's getting help from being 6'4", 220-something pounds, and being a great hitter.
And having a really quick bat. And again, that pitch was in a similar spot to his earlier home run. And boy, there's nothing that pumps up the bench quite like a home run.
I'm not sure if Gudesplat tried to sneak a slider by him, and it almost looked off speed when it came out of his hand, and Jake stayed with it, went down a little bit, and got it.
So Taylor with another home run. And we said before the game, wouldn't it be fun to call a couple of homers? Well, we've gotten that chance today. Here's Turlick. He pops it up. Unhappy with that one. And Seitz gathers it in for the third out of the inning, but the damage is done. Jake Taylor hits a home run, ties the ball game up at 1 apiece. And, I've been talking a lot about my conversations with the MC players, but, it's such a great group of guys to talk to, real intelligent group of the guys. And one of the things that I talked to him about was what it was like playing for head coach Dan Rasher. We've talked a lot about Dan, his demeanor, his knowledge today, but I want to know what the players thought about playing for him, and here's a sample of what I heard.
He's a good guy, I almost, last year, it's funny, I almost played for Rockville, and then Coach Rasher called me the day I was going to call the Rockville coach to ask him if I could get a spot on their team. And he invited me to our team, and I've been playing here ever since. So I owe him a lot, bringing me into this program, and we went to the World Series last year, and that was a really good experience. So that wouldn't have happened without Coach Rasher. So.
I love playing for Coach Rasher. It's definitely an experience. He knows the game, and there's a lot to be said for a coach that really knows the game and really cares about his kids.
Well, I like that, what Travis said there, and boy, it couldn't be truer. He really cares about his kids.
And one thing about Coach Rasher is when you saw how Travis said he really cares about his kids. He wants his kids to learn the game really well. And he wants his kids, obviously, to be smart student athletes, use your head on and off the field. But when we saw him after Game 1, they had a victory in the win column. Obviously, they won 7-5 over a 4-year school, but he wasn't very happy. So he didn't want his kids to be very happy either, and that's part of the learning process. Yes, they won 7-5, but it got too close for comfort at the end. They made the little mistakes that he prides himself on them not making during a game, and that's part of the learning process, and that's part of caring about the kids as ball players too.
Ground ball to first. Taylor with it. Hoover over. Nicely done. Oh, pulled him off the bag just a little bit. Could not. Oh, he dropped the ball. Could not see it from our angle. But, yeah, back to Dan for a second. I think one of the reasons why he is so unhappy, even though they won, oh, yeah, he just dropped it. He just flat out dropped it. That's another one of those little things.
It's a little thing. That's a little thing.
And those kinds of things, when you get to the postseason and, there is no tomorrow, it's a cliche, but it's true, those little things can end your season. And that's what he's trying to avoid.
And you could see Jake Taylor, even though he is a slugger, he showed some agility at first base. He made the nice play. He reminds me, not only does he look like him, but in his size, Jake Taylor reminds me a lot of former Nationals slugger Michael Morse, who's now in Seattle with the Mariners. Looks a lot like him, and he swings a lot like him, too.
Yeah, well, Michael Morse apparently likes Seattle. He's having
he's hitting the ball a long way.
I think he's making the Nats kind of wonder if maybe they gave up the wrong first baseman. Anyway, back to MC action. Ground ball to third, over to second for one, and back to first. Double play.
That's how you do it. That was a nice turn by Max Heldman. He got taken out a little bit at second, but he hung in there hard and made a nice throw and a nice stretch, obviously, by Jake Taylor.
There's the ball to Kuzarski, makes it textbook. Yeah, he did get taken out, and another nice stretch by Taylor at first. Well done.
Nice turn. That's the second time. I don't think they didn't complete the double play in the first game, but Heldman made a nice turn as well. He stuck in there hard.
Well, this is a good defensive team. Now, we have seen them make some miscues today, but by and large, this has been a pretty good defensive team.
And Andy McWilliams at third made a nice throw to Heldman to start the double play.
He sure did. And that's the 42nd double play of the year turned in by Montgomery College.
That's a good number. That's a very good number. That helps pitchers out a lot. I mean, and J.P. Hoover got the leadoff guy on again and gets bailed out by the double play.
So now all of a sudden we have 2 down in the top of the second. 1-1 ball game. Hoover high. This is Keith Pappas, the right fielder, the number 8 hitter in the Stevenson Mustangs lineup. There's the pitch in the dirt, and he loses him. That's when that double play really comes in handy, because now you just have the one man on rather than 2 or maybe more on.
And as we talked about a little earlier, where Hoover had, coming into this game, 14 walks to his 15 strikeouts. And when you've got 18 innings pitched and 14 walks, that's something to be concerned with. So JP has to settle down a bit, find his motion coming out of that left-handed slot, and not give up the base on balls.
And this is number 29, Ben Henry. Ben was not in the original lineup. Apparently he is catching. In place of Casper.
We thought they picked him off at first base.
And he's out.
No, they dropped the ball.
Oh my gosh!
Coming out of the lefty slot when you're a pitcher, you've got a heck of an advantage. Everybody ever watched Andy Pettit play? He's picked off a ton of guys, and that's what happened.
So number 29, Ben Henry, is going to be catching the second game, which we kind of expected, frankly. 2 games for a catcher back-to-back, that's pretty rough. And he gets a base hit and more as it rolls all the way to the wall, and Henry rumbles into second base.
And that goes back to the play that just happened where J.P. Hoover picked off the lead runner at first base, but with Jake Taylor's throw down to shortstop Kuzarski, he bobbled the ball and wasn't able to make the play, which should have been an easy out, and now you have a gapper and another run. It's 2-1.
As Ben Henry got a lot of that one.
I'd like to think that the Montgomery College players are going to want to watch this broadcast on MCTV Channel 10 and on YouTube, but I'm afraid that they might not. This is not a pretty first game and 1.5 innings. I'd like to say that they're going to all go and sit around and watch this great game with some great talented folks on MCTV and some great announcers, but I think they might not. I don't know, Michael.
Well, I think Dan Rasher just had a little session there on the mound. He had the entire infield in there. This was not a conversation with J.P. Hoover.
No.
I believe this was a conversation with the entire infield. And he did not look happy. I couldn't read lips, but I can read body language, and it didn't look real positive there. And there's a strike.
To quote one of the MC assistant coaches, the second game of doubleheaders have been their Achilles heel. They seem to jump out and win game one, and they've been dropping a lot of game twos. I mean, you could think of a million different reasons why, but it could become a mental thing as well, where you get one in the win column, and then your intensity level drops off a bit for game two. I don't know. It's tough to say. Lose
a little focus, perhaps, because the kind of miscues we're seeing here they're not typical errors.
And this is not 2013 MC Raptors baseball right now, and Coach Rasher has told us that he's been very pleased with the fact that they're not giving up runs. They're not making the little mistakes, and we're seeing that right now.
Well, this inning they've given Stevenson 2 extra outs already, and they still have to get their nemesis here, number 7, Matt Myers. This guy has been almost impossible to get out the entire afternoon. And the count runs full now. 3-2, 2 outs. And Stevenson has reclaimed the lead 2-1. And there's a foul ball.
Nice pitch getting the ball in on Myers' hands. And this isn't the guy you want to have a runner in scoring position at the plate.
Oh, no. Not the way he's been swinging the bat today. I'm very impressed with this kid. And strike 3.
That's the first time he's been out all day.
And I'm not too sure he was all that happy with the call, but I think J.P. Hoover will take it. And so at the end of 1.5 innings of play, Stevenson holding a 2-1 lead. And we've been talking about Travis Smith, and as a matter of fact, Travis is going to be leading off. There he is with the bat in our picture there. And, he's really one of the most thoughtful and intelligent players on the team, Marcus. So when I sat down with him the other day, I figured there's nobody better to ask than Travis about what the current state of this team is right now heading into the home stretch of the regular season.
Man, I think the team is doing – I don't want to say it's better than I thought we would do, because I knew that we would be somewhere around here, but I'm very pleased with how we're playing. Definitely. It's and all the credit goes to a lot of the freshmen, a lot of the guys that are really just stepping up. I mean, when the 3, 4, 5 guys aren't getting hits, the 7, 8, 9 hitters are getting hits. And that's how you win ball games, is production all throughout the lineup. Guys like Matt Shook out there, Nick Ponifala, Jeremy Ponifala, I mean, just about everyone. But those are some names that are coming to mind.
Sam, what's his...
Sam Stefanelli. Great game this weekend. 6 for 8, all extra base hits. I mean, we definitely have guys stepping up.
And that was Travis Smith. Like I said, that's pretty good analysis there. This kid is thoughtful and intelligent.
Well, when you have injuries, you need guys to step up. And the guy he just mentioned, Sam Stefanelli, has been filling up the box score big time this season, and he's not out here today. But Matt Shook had a good game in the first game. The Ponifala brothers seemed to be in the mix during the run-scoring innings. And Travis himself has a really nice swing. He showed that. He showed that in game 1. But he's right. Kids are going to step up. The freshmen are going to step up. And, as they talked about earlier, Dan had a lot of players to choose from, a lot of competition for this 2013 MC Raptors club.
Of course, Travis he's going to be he'll be graduating this year. He already has a scholarship lined up at Anderson University in South Carolina. He knows he wants to major in kinesiology, and he just got hit by the pitch. And it's funny. It's not funny, but it's sort of a typical Travis Smith story. As you know, he just missed a couple of weeks because he got hit in the ankle by a pitch, and it was so bad that he had to be taken out of the game, and he missed like 10 days. It was a horrible contusion. He showed it to me.
Well, it's a good thing he didn't step backwards. Your initial reaction as soon as the ball leaves the pitcher's hand and it's coming at you is to step backwards out of the box. And if he stepped backwards, he might have gotten that one on the helmet, but he got it on the upper back.
Well, the funny part of the story is, I said, "What was the situation when you got hit?" He said, "Well, I was leading off the last inning. We were down a run." He said, "I probably could have gotten out of the way, but we needed a base runner." So he took the pitch off his ankle, immediately was then replaced. So I asked him, "What's the natural follow-up question?" I said, "Did the pinch runner score?" And he said, "Yeah, he scored and we won the game."
Well, there you have it. His ankle took one for the team, but he's a catcher. He does that stuff.
Yep.
I mean, he's used to getting hit by the ball, 20 or 30 times a game.
Well, and as you said earlier, he saved a run in the bottom of the.
His wrist saved a run.
With his wrist.
And his ankle scored a run in the other game you were speaking of.
So he'll use any body part he can to get a run across the plate.
Let's go, Shook.
And Matt Shook up there. Boy, he really had a nice game in that first one, that opener.
Let's go, win it.
On base, what, 3 times? I'm looking down at our ace statistician down there, Angela C. Dale, and she's going to tell us how many times he got on base in that first game.
Come on. Win it.
And he was on base 4 times in the first game.
That looks like 4 singles to me.
4 times, and he scored 2 runs. So, plus made a couple of nice plays in the outfield. So, great game by Matt Shook out of Tuscarora High School in the opener. Let's see what he can do in the second game. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hits a ground ball to third. Seitz drops to his knees, and he throws it away. And the runners will advance. Smith moves to third, Shook to second, and home was uncovered.
Yes, it was. The catcher, of course, when there's a play to third baseman, his first instinct is to run down and back up first base, but he didn't really think about home. At the same time, sometimes you want your pitcher to bail you out. Mr. Gudesblatt might have been sleeping on that play as well. He could actually come down and cover home on that play.
Yeah, I would look at the pitcher there because the natural instinct for the catcher is to run down and back up the throw. So Gudesblatt kind of fell asleep at the mound there. And there's a shot out into the gap. That's going to score Travis Smith. Here comes Matt Shook in right behind him. And
Andy McWilliams, that was a nice hit. I think it was a curveball coming out of Gudesblatt's hands, and he stuck the bat out and hit a nice liner to center field to score the 2 runs. Andy McWilliams, again, stepping up. I know it's cliche, but this is sports. We use cliches. Andy McWilliams comes in and gets the opportunity, and he hits a double and he scores 2 runs.
And that's good for him because he's been struggling a bit at the plate this year, hitting only 196. And I know they were expecting a little more out of him this year, but it's early. He's a freshman out of Blake High School.
And again, Matt Shook is right in the middle of it. The third baseman, Seitz, made a nice play on his ground ball, but Seitz threw the ball away and lets Shook and Travis Smith continue their run around the bases.
And that brings up Colin McMahon. He's the catcher in the second game. He's a Shorewood High School grad, freshman, undecided major at the moment. And he's out in front of that one. And Colin McMahon is hitting .211 on the season. He's 8 out of 38 for the year. Does have 4 doubles and 3 ribbies. And he lays down a bunt, and it rolls foul. So MC picking up 2 quick runs.
Nice idea with dropping a bunt down. Again, Seitz playing way back. He's going to have to sneak up just a little bit, but you have nobody outs, and you got a guy on third, and you already got a couple of runs in. Why not get another run? You know, you can push him to third base, and then, you know, the guy behind you, the guy on deck, Kozarski, can hit a fly ball, and you have another run. So even though you said Dan doesn't like to play small ball too much, there's always the opportunity.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the second as the Raptors have gotten to Gudesblatt. And that's outside. Gets away from the catcher, but not far enough for McWilliams to advance. We're going to find out if that little lecture by Dan Rasher on the mound had its intended effect here on the Raptors. I know one area he was unhappy with in that first game, despite the win, was the base running.
Yes, there were some blunders.
Timeout. I'll tell you, folks, it's beautiful out, but there is a very chilly breeze a-blowing. And he lost him. Was ahead in the count 1-2 and ended up walking him. And that brings up number 21, Nick Kozarski. This is the first time we've seen him at the plate today. He did not play in the first game. He's out of Urbana High School, and he's a political science major, and yet another freshman for Montgomery College.
Stevenson's going to have to really take a look at Gudesblatt. I mean, we're in the second inning. There's nobody out, and you have the top of the order looming after Kozarski here. So Gudesblatt's running into some serious trouble.
And they do have action in the bullpen. Cannot see, it's too far away, but there is somebody warming up in the Stevenson bullpen. Number 25, that is Jake Kempinski. And out of Long Beach, New York. They got quite a few New York kids on this team. They got a Sayville kid. Is Sayville on Long Island, or is it upper state New York?
Well,
not sure.
I'm from Connecticut. I didn't spend too much time on Long Island.
I want to say it's on Long Island, but I could be wrong.
I know we've already gotten a Orioles score update from our faithful Scott Youngblood Orioles fanatic. I wonder if you can get a Yankee score. Are we not allowed to talk about the Yankees? There's a New York tie. We had a Faulkner from Brooklyn was pitching first. We have a guy warming up from Sayville.
Yep. Number 25.
Long Island.
No, Long Beach, New York.
Long Beach, New York.
Long Beach, New York. Kempinski. Let's see what Nick Kozarski can do. He takes a ball inside. This kid has thrown a lot of pitches in not even close to 2 innings. We're still at the 1 inning mark because we have no outs here.
And Kozarski's run him up to 3-1.
He walked the last batter.
He's going to get a pitch to hit right here. I wonder if he's swinging this bat.
I would imagine he's got the green light. But he took it for ball 4. That was good plate discipline there by Kuzarski, because that was close. And that brings up Joseph Coleman. Something tells me he doesn't go by Joseph. I'm guessing Joe. Anyway, Joe Coleman up.
If he gets a grand slam here, we can call him Mr. Coleman.
Well, he's got the bases juiced, and Gudesblatt is having trouble finding the plate.
But at the same time, I don't think grand slam is in his mentality right now. I think waiting for Mr. Gudesblatt to throw him a strike.
Yeah, his first order of business here is to let Gudesblatt throw a strike, and that gets away, and that's going to score a run. As Andy McWilliams trots on home with the 3rd run of the ball game for Montgomery College, and that puts him up 3-2. And it gets away. That's a wild pitch, folks. Raptors still have runners on 2nd, 3rd. Still nobody out, and Gudesblatt still struggling to find the strike zone as it now goes to 3-0. And you got the meat of the order coming up with Max Heldman on deck, and then Jake Taylor. He gets that one over, as Coleman was rightly taking all the way there.
And still a somewhat generous call by the umpire.
I would say that was a bit of a gift. And there's Coleman with a nice shot out to right. That should score a run. And he comes in, tagging up. Another run for Montgomery College as number 23, Colin McMahon, scores on the sacrifice fly by Coleman.
Nice piece of hitting by young Joe Coleman.
I got to tell you, Joe Coleman looks like he's about 10 years old. He's not going to like it when he hears me, but that is a young-looking guy.
Well, he's going to love it when he's about 30.
Yeah, he won't be mad at me when he's 30, or 40.
Right.
But right now, he's going to hear that and he's going, what do you have to say that for? And here's Max Heldman. Second base, played second base in the first game, did a fine job. Turned, there's real high. He turned a couple of nice pivots in the first game on the one double play they turned in particular was just beautiful. So he's done a good job at second base, and of course that is the position that Carlos Santana was playing before he was injured.
The injury.
And Max was actually playing shortstop.
And Carlos Santana is your prototypical leadoff guy. And that's an injury that really hurts, no pun intended.
Unfortunate. Ground ball up the middle. It gets through the drawn-in infield to score a run. And Heldman picks up an RBI as number 21, Nick Kuzarski, scores.
And I did not even notice it, but the infield was drawn in, and I know I'm not a manager or baseball coach, but when it's 5-2 in the second inning, I not have any idea why you have the infield drawn in. It's one run. You got to get out of the inning, especially with a guy like Jake Taylor on deck. Take your out.
Plus you've got a pitcher who has struggled to find the strike zone.
Yeah, you need an out.
Here's big Jake Taylor, had a home run over the left field fence his first time up, a no doubt about it shot. Was his second of the day and the 11th of the season for the big fella.
Gudesblatt threw him a curveball as the first pitch to Jake Taylor. That was pretty gutsy because his curveball is slow, and Jake, I think, hit one out in the first inning.
So we shall see what we shall see. This is a fun guy to watch hit, as they are. Gudesblatt is very concerned with Heldman at first. That's his second throw over. Behind the first baseman, we see our guy Paul Steinitz on camera. There's a shot up the middle.
Boy, oh boy.
Oh my gosh, that was scary. He gets the out.
Yeah,
Wow.
that could have been disaster.
Man, nobody wants to see that.
The strongest guy in the park with an aluminum bat.
Let's see it. Wow.
Off the glove.
Thank goodness for gloves. Because we could be calling EMS right now. And Jake knows it. Jake, I think, may have tweaked his ankle running down the bases.
Yeah, Jake's hobbling a bit.
Yep.
And Gudisblatt seems to be all right.
Yep, the glove saved him. But, boy, was that a shot. But, yeah, I'm looking at Jake Taylor over in the dugout. He's talking to he's sitting down. He's been having ankle issues, and he hurt one, and then it was just starting to feel better, and then he hurt the other one, and then he was favoring the other one, and so he's had continual problems with the ankles. Here's Greg Turlick up with 2 outs now, and 5 runs in the inning for Montgomery College to take a 6-2 lead.
And that was through all the fireworks of that near disastrous play for the pitcher. That was an RBI for Taylor.
So that was the second RBI of the day for Taylor.
And these stats, even though it is against a 4-year JV school, these stats do count. That launching home run in game 1 counts. Obviously, they don't count for the Stevenson players.
And I am watching over there. It looks like Jake's okay. He was looked to me like he was hobbling a little bit when he came back to first, but he looks fine now. So hopefully he's all right. Don't want to see anybody get hurt.
And I think he took a long look at the pitcher. That probably scared Jake as well.
Yeah, it did. Nobody wants to see that happen. Turlick pops one out down the right field line. It's in foul ground. The right fielder is over. There's plenty of room over there.
Yeah, that's where our foul territory is.
Yeah, it's in right field, and
right field.
Pappas made the use of it, and that ends the second inning. With Montgomery College putting a big 5 spot up there to lead 6-2 after 2 complete, and we'll be right back after this quick break.
Like us on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Montgomery College TV.
And welcome back. We are just about ready to start the top of the third. Second game of our doubleheader, Montgomery College against Stevenson University, and the Raptors, the MC Raptors leading here 6-2 as we start the top of the third inning. J.P. Hoover still on the mound for Montgomery College. He's had a bit of a rough start to the game. We're going to see if he can settle in now that he has a nice lead, but the first pitch of the inning is lined for a single into left center by number 40, Joe Carlino. That brings up number 10, Davis Grove, the DH.
Right before that lefty batter got a hit off of Hoover, I thought I was going to say that Hoover could be a lefty specialist out of the bullpen come tournament time to go after the left-handed batters from the left side of the mound. But Carlinio actually hung in there pretty well and poked one out to center field.
So the leadoff runner on here as Stevenson tries to climb out of their 4-run deficit. They jumped out to an early lead. Jake Taylor tied it in the bottom of the first with a bomb to left field. Stevenson promptly took the lead back again in the top of the second, but then Montgomery College trumped that with a 5 spot.
Yeah, they really got to Gudesblatt in the second inning.
Well, and he was a little bit of his own worst enemy. He had trouble finding the strike zone, got behind a lot of hitters. Hoover, oh, that was a bad one. And that could go either way as a pass ball or a wild pitch, but it was way high and way outside. And here comes Dan Rasher.
When you score 5 runs in the second inning and you take a 6-2 lead and you let the first guy get on and then you throw into the backstop, that's going to cause Dan Rasher to come out to the mound.
Yeah. Yeah. And the first words out of his mouth are going to be something like, you can't stand prosperity or what?
One thing about Coach Rasher, though, he's not a yeller. But I don't know how to explain it. You understand what he's thinking. It could be his facial expression. I've seen him a couple of times just put his head down in the dugout, just sort of think to himself, probably mutter something under his breath because he's not a yeller. He's not a foul language kind of guy.
Oh no, he definitely is not that. I don't think I've ever heard him say anything of that nature. A lot of it with Dan is, like you say, it's facial expressions, it's body language. He gets a lot done with a few words.
And there's not much partying going on in that dugout right now.
No. Ground ball to third. McWilliams, nice play. Long throw, easy out.
Nice play by Andy McWilliams. Takes a good look at the runner and makes, like you said, a very strong throw all the way across the diamond.
Yeah, that was a nice fundamental play there. Looking the runner back and then taking his time. Making a nice throw. Taylor didn't even have to stretch. That's the first out of the inning. And they do hold the runner at second, which is important. And
Garrett Seitz got a single off of Hoover in his first matchup against him. Lefty on lefty here.
He's had a pretty good couple of games here, Seitz has.
Another one of the guys that Stevenson uses at the varsity level.
Here's the pitch. Foul back, out of play.
I'm glad I moved my car.
Well, I told everybody, I said, I've covered a lot of games out of here, and there's certain places you just don't park here unless you don't like your windshield. You know, I've seen lots of cars get hit out here. Ooh, nice throw, a little off target, and that's a stolen base.
Yeah, Carlinio got a great jump. Again, that's the left-handed pitcher with your back. If you get a good lead at second base, you really have you can't see behind you, and that's exactly what he did. He took the huge lead, and then he gets a pretty good running start to third. It would have taken a perfect throw by McMahon.
That's the second time they've done that in this ball game, where they've taken advantage of the fact that he's a lefty.
Yep.
So man on third now.
And even though it's 6-2, if you can take it, take it. I mean, it's you moved a guy up, and with no danger, you're already halfway down the baseline.
And there's lots of ways to score from third even without a hit. So, they're looking to chip away at that lead. Lots of time left, lots of innings left. pick up a run here, it could make a difference down the line. Great shot there of the Carlenio leading off. And now Hoover's having a little problem with the strike zone as he runs the count full to 3-2. Here's the payoff pitch, and he hits it out into center field. It's shallow, and nice play by Heldman.
He's got a really nice arm. Even though he plays second base, usually that's where you're, you know, a good fielder, but maybe not the greatest arm on the field. We've seen him turn the double play, and he was off his back foot on this pop-up, and he threw it right like a dart.
Well, keep in mind, he was the shortstop until Santana was hurt.
Yep.
So he does have that shortstop arm. And, you know, we just can't say enough about the loss of Carlos Santana and what the effect it's had on this team. He's one of the emotional leaders on the team. He's a guy who Dan Rasher said he's really almost a rags to riches story. Came from one of the programs in the county that's not very strong, a high school program, and just worked and worked and worked and worked and made himself into a great ball player. Was elected co-captain, and then to suffer that cracked wrist, some injuries that just don't seem fair.
It's good. It's good to have guys, not even if they're going to help you, you know, between the lines, they help you off the field with his work ethic.
And I'm sure he will do that. There's a shot to short. Nice play by Kuzarski for the third out. So J.P. Hoover, after a little bit of trouble, gets out of it with no runs, and that makes our score 6-2 after 2.5 2.5 innings of play. And, you know, all day long we've been talking about Montgomery College and Dan Rasher and their incredible success and going to the World Series. And, you know, I had a chance to talk to the players recently, and one of the questions I asked every one of them was, do you think this team is going back this year to Texas?
Absolutely, because we had a lot of guys last year play a key role to get to the World Series, and everyone's got better. We got a lot of we got Jake a transfer. He's going to help a lot, and we got like a lot of good freshmen. We got a lot of depth this year. I really like our team a lot this year.
I think this team has more than enough talent and more than enough heart to make it and win it. I think last year we were very satisfied with winning the region and making it to the World Series, and this year we don't care about making it to the World Series. We care about making it out of the World Series as the #1 team in the country, because we've been there and we know how that feels, and it's not going to mean the same if we just get there. So I think our focus is a little bit different this year.
Well, that was Travis Smith and of course Russell Renfro. They're confident, but they're certainly not cocky about it.
Well, no, they were 26-13 coming into today, and that's 13 losses. And I know that they play a lot of games, but there's a lot of games that they probably out of that 13 thought that they could win. So they're not going to be overconfident. They know that they are pretty much playing for the region tournament, getting themselves ready for the region tournament. Dan talks about that all the time. They want to get their injuries, you know, out of the way. Knock on wood, none of them pop up again. But they want to go to the World Series, but you can't be cocky about it. They know when you get to Tyler, Texas, that's about as good a baseball at the junior college level as you're going to see. You know, and Bryce Harper played at NJCAA Division III a few years ago. This is big time baseball, but these are also big time baseball players, and they got a big time baseball coach here at Montgomery College.
Well, that's for sure. And you know, another conversation I had with Dan recently, he said the Region 20 tournament this year is not going to be a walk in the park. That Westmoreland and CCAC South are definitely stronger this year. And he said, man, they just want to beat us so bad they can taste it. And of course, that's what happens when you win 6 out of 7 regions.
Well, sure, the bullseye's on their back. coming into each season, the bullseye in region is on Montgomery College's back.
And Gudesblatt has been replaced by, and no surprise there really, he struggled. He's been replaced by number 25, Jake Kempinski. He's our new pitcher out there for Stevenson. And he's another New York kid out of Long Beach, New York.
He's got quite an interesting wind-up here. He kind of has a stutter at the top of his leg lift, and his arm is a little dropped behind him. Kind of awkward. The ball is a little bit hidden behind his back before he releases it.
Yeah, that is interesting, the way he kind of holds it down by his side there. And, of course, he's tall and lanky with a lot of legs and arms coming at you, too.
And that's not easy to pick that ball up out of his hand.
And he's facing Travis Smith. And he pops it up to second base. And there's Myers, gathers it in for the first out of the inning. That's the first time we've seen Travis Smith not hit a laser shot line drive all day. And that brings up Matt Shook.
Matt scored a run in his previous at bat, and he's been in the middle of things since we started this at noontime in Game 1.
Yeah, he's been in the mix of both games. He had a tremendous first game. Was on base 4 times, scored a couple of runs.
He got on via an error in the MC big inning in the second. But he actually he made the third baseman Seitz try to make a good play on him, and the kid threw it away.
And he takes a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And on deck is number 28, Andy McWilliams, who's playing third base this game. Yeah, the Raptors look like they're having a little bit of trouble against Kempinski.
Yeah, that was a nice fastball. Low outside. Nice placement by Kempinski.
It may take him an inning or so to get used to this unusual motion. And that brings up Andy McWilliams.
Yeah, you couldn't really have two polar opposites on the mound, even though they're both coming from the right side, between who we had with Gudesblatt and now with Kempinski. Gudesblatt was a little short and stocky, and the ball really didn't have much of a wind-up. And like you said, Kempinski's coming at you with all legs and arms and elbows.
And McWilliams, of course, had a double his first time up. Had a big hit in that 5-run inning.
He's had a pretty good game, even though we're only in the bottom of the third inning. He's made a couple of good plays at third base.
So another young guy getting some playing time. Andy McWilliams is a freshman out of Blake High School, undecided major. Blake, one of the newer high schools in the county. And that's a ball outside in the dirt.
Andy's got 10 hits and 9 RBIs this season. That's a pretty good average right there.
Yeah, that's pretty productive.
It is.
That's making the most of your hits. You got 3 doubles, which of course 4 now after the double, and there's a bouncer up the middle, gathered in, and he's thrown out at first, and that ends the inning as Kempinski comes in and sets down the Raptors 1, 2, 3. So after 3 complete, the Raptors on top 6-2. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Whether you're a recent high school graduate, career-changing adult, or seeking professional or personal development, Montgomery College has what you're looking for. We offer more than 130 programs of study, as well as workforce development and continuing education to prepare you for a rewarding future. Take advantage of our small class sizes, award-winning faculty, and flexible scheduling. Evening, weekend, and online classes offered. Apply today. Montgomery College, endless possibilities. 240-567-5000.
Check out more Montgomery College programming at youtube.com/Montgomery College.
And welcome back. We are just about ready to start the top of the fourth inning from the Germantown campus of Montgomery College. 6-2, Montgomery College in front of Stevenson University. We're in game 2 of a doubleheader on a beautiful but crisp April day here in Montgomery County, Maryland. And Stevenson getting ready to send up number 15, Ian Eberly, their first baseman, to lead off the inning against J.P. Hoover.
In his first appearance against J.P. Hoover, he reached on an error, stole a base, and came around to score one of the 2 runs for the Mustangs.
Well, Hoover managed to get out of the last inning without giving up a run. That was his first scoreless inning of the game. He's now into his 4th inning of work. I'm sure Dan Rasher would love nothing more than to see him settle into a nice rhythm and maybe have a couple of scoreless innings in a row here. There's a bunt. Nice one. And McMahon does not get him as he beats it out.
Eberly gets down the line pretty quickly, coming out of the left side of the box.
And he just put it in the right place.
That was a great bunt. Little drag bunt. Channeling his inner Ichiro.
That brings up Nick Schaefer, the shortstop, who's had a fine game in the field. And now he's got a leadoff man. He's got a man on first to work with here. Let's see what they try to put something on, a little hit and run perhaps.
Hoover might want to keep him close to first base because Eberly has some wheels, and he's a lefty, so he can keep him closer.
And, of course, Eberly already has a steal today. So he's shown us he knows how to run the bases. And, of course, they know that Colin McMahon behind the plate is not the starting catcher for the Raptors, so they may want to may want to see what he's got. Way outside.
Nick Schaefer's a real smooth fielder at shortstop. He's the one that ended the last inning. Got the Mustangs out of that last inning, but he's got a good glove and a good arm at shortstop.
Yeah, he really has the look of a solid infielder. And he pops it up in foul ground. Taylor going over, and he got it. Little basket catch there. He's laughing at himself.
He got out of my my line of sight. I was going to ask you, did he just catch that like a basket catch?
He sure did. And you're going to get to see it again. Thanks to our great camera work.
Yes, he did. Nice shot by the camera.
I got a feeling Jake Taylor has a lot of fun with life. The guy has a smile on his face a lot. But, you know, if I could hit home runs like that.
Yeah, or throw 92 miles an hour or 93 miles an hour, I'd smile a lot too. He's going to start smiling at the offer letters that are going to come in from 4-year schools.
Oh,
I know that he didn't find his niche at Radford, but when you put up big-time numbers like he's putting up right now for Montgomery College, his mailbox is going to be filling up.
All right, 1 out, 1 on, and way outside again. Again, we're watching J.P. Hoover on the hill here for the Raptors. He is normally a reliever, so this is probably his longest stint of the year on the hill.
Yeah, and if Rasher can get 4 innings, even 5 innings out of him, that would be a win in of itself. As you were talking about how many doubleheaders that Montgomery College has played over the last week and a half, it takes its toll on the arms, and he really wants to get J.P. Hoover to get some innings in him, pretty much, and limit the damage. It's 6-2 right now. He's got some room. And if he can get out of here of the 4th inning, I mean, I'm not sure what Dan is going to do with the 5th, 6th, and 7th innings, but he's got to think that that's a win in itself.
Yeah, I would think so. And that pitch got away, and the runner advanced to second. Swing and a miss. That evens the count at 2-2. Keith Pappas up. Man in scoring position is Eberly. Hoover steps off. There's a ground ball up right off of Hoover, but he picks it up and gets the out.
Yeah, he caught that right at the bottom of his palm. Watch on the replay, we'll see. Luckily, he is a lefty, and the right hand with the glove side was right there, like a hockey goalie.
Yep, he is very much like a hockey goalie. And he got the out, and the runner did not advance.
Not as frightening as the Jake Taylor liner back up the middle that almost took out Gudesblatt. But again, that was a shot up the middle, and JP was ready with the glove hand.
Here's Ben Henry, the catcher. He had a double his first time up and drove in a run. Yeah, he smashed one in the gap in the left center. There's one out on Observation Boulevard.
Hoover's a couple pitches away from getting himself in line for a win. If he gets out of this 4th inning, if it's a 7-inning game, you get yourself a win after 4 innings pitched, as opposed to you need to go 5, obviously, in a 9-inning game. But that's that's definitely a plus.
There's a little off the fist to Taylor, who tags the runner out, and that ends the inning. So you said it, and Hoover did it, and that ends the top half of the 4th inning. No runs across for Stevenson, and Montgomery College maintains their 6-2 lead at the end of 3.5 innings of play, and we'll be right back after this message.
Whether you're a recent high school graduate, career-changing adult, or seeking professional or personal development, Montgomery College has what you're looking for. We offer more than 130 programs of study, as well as workforce development and continuing education to prepare you for a rewarding future. Take advantage of our small class sizes, award-winning faculty, and flexible scheduling. Evening, weekend, and online classes offered. Apply today. Montgomery College, endless possibilities. 240-567-5000.
Like us on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Montgomery College TV.
And welcome back. We are ready to start the bottom half of the 4th inning. Jake Kempinski still on the mound for Stevenson. And number 23, Colin McMahon, the catcher, will be leading off for Montgomery College. He walked and scored his first time up. He was all part of that big 5-run second for Montgomery College that really represents the difference in the game right now, as the Raptors are up 6-2. Just a quick review. Stevenson took the lead in the top half of the first. Montgomery College tied it up immediately with a Jake Taylor home run. There's McMahon. Hit the ball out into right center, and Pappas gathers it in for the first out. Then Stevenson retook the lead in the top half of the second, and then Montgomery College put a 5 spot up there on the scoreboard to make it 6-2, and that's where we stand.
And I think Gudis Blot, the starting pitcher for Stevenson, was probably left in a couple of batters too long. And as you can see, Kempinski did himself pretty well in the inning that he pitched, and he's already got, one pitch, one out here in the fourth.
He's facing Nick Kusarski, the shortstop here in the second game of our doubleheader. There's Greg Turlick. They can ill afford to lose him, and it looks like maybe he was being worked on a little bit there by the trainer, Gori Shavan. Ooh, that hit him in the head as he kind of ducked his head, and it scraped his helmet. Well, that came right at you, Marcus.
I was looking up Greg Turlick's stats here, and I just saw the ball come flying at us.
Oh, I saw you. You went hiding behind our ace statistician, Angela C. Dale.
But they could ill afford to lose Kurlick. Hopefully, he just got banged around a little bit, because he's one of the bats in there that's going to be protecting Taylor, obviously.
And he's a very good outfielder too. Very good defensive outfielder, and yeah, you're right about him protecting Taylor.
I mean, he got 3 home runs on the season, 31 RBIs.
Yeah, he's a key part of the offense. There's a Coleman pops it up into left field. Can of corn there for the second out. So Kusarski remains on first, and that brings up number 11, Max Heldman. And I've really been impressed with this kid today.
He had a single his last at bat. He looks like a good ball player.
He's done a really great job in the field. We just got word from our dugout reporter, Garrett Quinn, that the Turlick situation is a recurring injury that apparently it's not a serious injury, but they treat it with this icy hot stuff every now and then, and it's just something he's dealing with. I think at this point in the season, after you've played this many games, almost everybody has a little nagging injury that they're trying to play through. And you know these guys don't want to come out of the lineup.
No, of course not.
You really got to be hurt to want to come out of the lineup.
One thing I noticed about Turlick early this morning when we were doing batting practice, when they were doing batting practice, we were watching batting practice, is that he's not wearing any batting gloves, and it was probably in the high 40s maybe this morning, and the crack of the bat, I guess you won't call it the crack, but the ping, when it's 49 degrees and the wind is blowing and you don't have batting gloves on, I said, wow, that is a tough kid.
Well, you don't see many guys at this level not wearing batting gloves.
That's right.
At any level, frankly. There's very few major leaguers that don't wear them. Most guys wear 2 now.
Yeah, and then everybody wears the body armor where you have the big giant protector on your elbow.
The Barry Bonds armor. There's a seeing eye single into right field. And a boblet, so the runner advances. Kusarski alertly advances to third. So Heldman with another hit.
Was that a hit and run, or was it just a seeing eye? No?
That was a seeing eye.
Yeah, I think it was seeing eye.
And now Kempinski is being visited by his coach, Sean Retz. Sean is the hitting coach for the full-time varsity. Had a fine hitting career, played his college ball at UMBC, was a 4-year starter at UMBC, great hitter. And he's in his second year as an assistant for the varsity and the head JV coach at Stevenson.
When you start all 4 years at UMBC, you're a really good baseball player. That's an excellent program.
So here's Big Jake Taylor, and he's got 2 guys sitting out there waiting to be picked up. Of course, he had the home run the first time up to tie up the game. And there's a shot out into center. It's deep, and it's off the wall. 1 run is scored. Here comes Helbin in. Taylor cruises into second with a 2-run double.
And if he didn't hit that into the longest, deepest annals of this park, that would have been another home run. Because that was directly to center field, and that's a heck of a shot if you're gonna reach it. And I think he went 1 bounce, not even, right off the fence.
Here he goes. Our director didn't do what he promised. He said he was going to get out there and prune that tree in between games.
And Jake almost did himself.
So Jake Taylor putting on a hitting clinic here today.
And Kempinski started him off with a big slow curveball, and I'm not sure if Retz went out there and told him to start Taylor off with a curveball, but the ball actually didn't break too much, and it was right in Jake's wheelhouse, and he crushed it again.
He just crushed it. So he plates both runs. They try to get Taylor leaning the other way off a second as Henry threw it down there, but he was back fairly easily.
And that really opens up Dan Rasher to keep J.P. Hoover in there. And I'm not sure if he was planning on keeping him in there for 4 innings or 5 innings, but right now he's got a nice cushion. And if he feels like J.P. Hoover's arm could take him to 5 innings, he's got an 8-2 lead. Why not?
And here is Greg Turlick. We were talking about Greg and his recurring injury just a couple minutes ago. And he hits one out into center field, and the center fielder's on his horse. He can't get that one, and that is a home run as Greg Turlick goes yard. Apparently the Icy Hot did the job. Boy, that almost got our camera guy out there, Corey Wallace, as Greg Turlick hits a 2-run homer. And all of a sudden, Kempinski, who looked like he was getting the job done, is getting lit up as Turlick caught a hold of that outside corner, and boom. Boy, that's right there at our camera location.
That was coming right at you.
Corey Wallace gets himself a souvenir out there in center field.
It's nice to see when a lefty hits that sort of opposite field home run. It's tough to call. You don't really know that it's got that much distance and power to it, but the ball kept carrying. And Greg's not a small kid. That's a strong guy over there. And it was nice to see him kind of go down and get that ball. And again, what's up with the jet stream here in Germantown? Because these balls are flying.
Got a new. We got a pinch hitter in. Number 15, Matt Monroe, and he's hitting for Travis Smith. So Matt Monroe will now move into the number 5 spot in the batting order, and he takes the place of Travis Smith, who's getting the rest of the day off, I would imagine.
Matt's only gotten 13 at-bats on the season. 3 for 13 on the season with a couple of RBIs, 4 walks, a strikeout, stolen base.
Scored a couple of runs. He's another freshman and out of Gaithersburg High School. And he is a business major. Of course, a lot of the students at this level do not. And he hits it sharply to first. Going to be a race to first, and he loses that race. So that's the end of the fourth inning, as Montgomery College puts up 4 more runs to make the score 10-2.
They really broke the ball game open with 4 runs. Jake Taylor hitting a heck of a long shot to straight center field, and Greg Turlick coming back with a huge home run that didn't really look like he got it all coming off his bat, but the ball really kept on going. So they opened it up 10-2, and then you get to have Hoover coming out with an 8-run lead on the mound again. And even though he is a relief pitcher, Coach Dan Rasher wants to get as many innings out of this guy as he can. They've been throwing a lot of pitches over the last couple of weeks with these double headers, and it's gonna make everybody pleasantly surprised if Hoover can really extend this game. And with the 10-2 cushion, he really just needs to put the ball around the plate. If they're going to hit him, they're going to hit him. But the worst thing you can do if you're JP Hoover is let somebody get on base via the walk.
I assume they're supposed to have someone that watches.
Looks like Myers is gonna lead off the 5th inning, and Myers has shown himself to be one heck of a hitter, even though he did strike out looking in his last at bat up against JP Hoover, but he was 4 for 4 in the first game. We've got 2 pretty good second basemen here today with Myers, and then over on the MC side with Heldman. These are 2 fine ball players.
Yeah, that's a very good display of second base defense that we've seen here today. And he swings through that one. This might be J.P. Hoover's last inning, as this is his 5th inning. Way outside.
He threw a lot of pitches in the first 2 innings as well, but it seemed he settled down in the 3rd inning and the 4th inning. Now we're up into the 5th inning. He hasn't given up a run since the 2nd, so he's settled in.
He's settled in, and the defense has tightened up.
Sure, and the one thing Dan Rasher talks about is if you're going to beat us with hits. You know, put one in the gap, but don't let one go through your legs, or don't put the guy on base, you know, via four lousy pitches and the base on balls. So if you're going to hit us, hit us.
So, and this is a guy that, boy, he's shown us a lot with the bat today, particularly in that first game. Big roundhouse curve there, doesn't find the strike zone. So we're in the top of the 5th inning, 2nd game of our doubleheader, and Montgomery College with a nice 10-2 cushion. There's a pop behind second base. Here comes Turlick in for it, and he's got it. Good communication out there. Last thing you want to see is another collision in the outfield, which is what got Carlos Santana hurt, and also the starting center fielder for Montgomery College, who we haven't seen today, Ian Velez. There's a ground ball to first, and there's Taylor over for the out. So 2 quick outs for J.P. Hoover.
That was a big batter for J.P. Hoover, because Carlinio has gotten to him twice already with 2 hits. So that's a nice way to get Carlinio finally out.
Easy play for Taylor. Way outside. This is Davis Grove, the DH back in there for Stevenson.
On this cool day, you can see sometimes that curveball doesn't have bite when it comes out of your fingers. You can't snap it like they want to.
There's a pop-up. Behind first, Taylor going for it, and he brings it in. Nice play. Not an easy one. So that was a nice 1-2-3 inning for J.P. Hoover, and that's got to make Dan Rasher happy.
And J.P. Hoover happy. That's good pitching. 10-2 lead. You threw the ball over the plate. You did what you had to do.
You know, Marcus, we've talked a lot about the Raptors today, and a lot of people might be listening and go, well, what happened to the Griffins? What happened to the Knights? Well, what happened is a few months ago, actually almost a year ago now, Montgomery College went to the unified one college approach, and that there's probably no part of the college that's been affected more by that than athletics. And baseball in particular, when you think about it, we used to have 2 baseball teams, one here in Germantown, one at Rockville. Now we just have the one team. And I really wondered what the players thought about that. So a couple of weeks ago, I came out to practice, and I talked to a few of them and asked them what they thought about the new one college approach.
I like it a lot more. I think, with a unified family, it makes it a little easier. Not so much competition in between schools. We get some of the good players from Rockville, and then we get to combine them with, who we had from Germantown last year.
I think it's good. I mean, we had a record number of guys try out in the fall, so, we were able to mold together a really strong core of guys. It gave us a lot more options to choose from. And it's just, more flexibility with classes, because now you can take classes at both campuses, so. It made a lot of sense, and I'm really glad they kept the program here, because it's been here for so long, and there's such a good tradition of Germantown baseball. So I'm glad they kept it here, and I think it really was a good move for the program.
Well, there's 2 guys that like it.
When you say one college, and I think it's going to be very important that you can also say one student body. We've always been very separated by, we had the Falcons, Tacoma Park, Silver Spring was the Falcons, the Griffins up here in Germantown, and the Knights in Rockville. And it's sort of, even though we were Montgomery College, we were separate, and we had the Battle of 270, whether it be a really good MC Germantown basketball team playing a really good MC Rockville basketball team. But you are Montgomery College, but we were always separated. So this brings everybody together. Of course, we have one color scheme, and we have the purple, the black, and the gray, and so that's nice. And I think a lot of the students are really into that now. And the other thing that Justin Sawyer said was being able to take classes, where you want. So if you're up here and you're playing baseball in Germantown, you can run down to Rockville and take a class, because they play games in Rockville as well. So it's really affected the student body, and I think it's a positive thing for the student body. Everybody wants to wear one color sweatshirt, not a green sweatshirt and a maroon sweatshirt, if you would.
Yeah, I agree. I do like the color scheme, and I love the uniforms that all the teams have come up with, not just the Raptors baseball team, but the basketball teams,
and
the soccer
I saw
team.
the softball team the other day. The softball uniforms are sharp.
Yep. Volleyball team had a great set of uniforms. So anyway, here's Matt Shook back up, and he lofts one out into right, easy out.
And I'll say it now. I absolutely could not stand the green and yellow of MC Germantown. All right, I said it. And if you went into the gym, it was very green and yellow.
It was very green and yellow.
Yes.
I think that's an understatement.
And it is no longer.
Nope. That brings up Andy McWilliams. And I'll bet if we asked Andy, I bet he'd like it too.
And not too long from now, we are going to unveil, I guess you could say, our new Raptors mascot.
Andy grounds it to third, and Seitz throws him out for the first out of the inning. Second out of the inning as Tim Davis settles in on the hill for Stevenson. That brings up Colin McMahon, number 23.
I think we saw Tim Davis in Game 1.
Yes, we did. So this is his second go-round of the day.
He's got a little bit of a sidearm delivery coming at us.
Yes, he does. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Montgomery College with a very comfortable 10-2 lead at the moment. But, this is college baseball. Anything can happen, and with these aluminum bats, the ball can fly, and next thing you know, it's they could chop into that lead. So, you know, Dan Rasher does not want to see this game get any closer.
Yeah, I don't want to see Dan Rasher's facial expressions if that happens.
No.
But it's 10-2. This is a 7-inning game, and you know, hey, they're right on the doorstep of taking a doubleheader. You know, from a lot of guys that have gone to a 4-year college to play baseball, and that's what you're playing against right now.
And like I think you mentioned early in the second game, is that the Raptors have had a bit of a bugaboo with doubleheaders and winning the second game. I'm not sure if somebody didn't get whacked by a foul ball over there. Our camera guy.
I think it might have been our cameraman slash dugout reporter, Garrett.
Garrett got hit by a foul ball. He did say that was his goal for the day, was to get hit by a foul ball, didn't he?
Well, there you have it.
And everybody gathering around. I hope he's all right. So we'll find out. Anyway, that is the end of the inning. And at the end of 5 complete, Montgomery College in front 10-2. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Whether you're a recent high school graduate, career-changing adult, or seeking professional or personal development, Montgomery College has what you're looking for. We offer more than 130 programs of study as well as workforce development and continuing education to prepare you for a rewarding future. Take advantage of our small class sizes, award-winning faculty, and flexible scheduling. Evening, weekend, and online classes offered. Apply today. Montgomery College, endless possibilities. 240-567-5000.
Check out more Montgomery College programming at youtube.com/Montgomery College.
And welcome back to the Germantown campus of Montgomery College. We are ready to start the top of the 6th inning, and there is a new pitcher in for Montgomery College. It is number 29, Alex Enderle, and Alex has pitched in 2 games this season. He has no wins, no losses. Has a fine ERA of 2.25. He's thrown 8 innings and given up 11 hits and just 3 runs. So Alex Enderle comes in after a fine outing by J.P. Hoover.
And if Alex Enderle is going to do one thing today, it better be throw strikes.
Yeah. I'm sure that was the instruction from pitching coach and head coach Dan Rasher, was throw strikes. Let your fielders do the work. So Alex Enderle replaces J.P. Hoover, who pitches 5 complete innings, and after a bit of a rough start, settled down, and through his last 3 innings, did not allow a run.
Good for J.P. Hoover. That was a good performance after the first couple innings were shaky. And he settled down, he threw strikes, and he leaves the game after 5 innings with a 10-2 lead.
And I think the other factor for JP is that part of that shakiness was not his fault. You know, there were some fielding miscues going on there.
It sort of picked up from game 1, and it jumped into game 2. And I think when Coach Rasher had the little bit of a powwow in the middle of the mound, not just with the pitcher, as you mentioned, with the infield. I think that probably resonated throughout the entire Raptors team.
I think they got their heads in the game, and I think, you know, I think you may have hit the nail on the head when you said that part of their bugaboo with the doubleheaders is they win the first game but would lose the second, and maybe there's a natural tendency to relax a little bit after you've won the first one. I don't know. Never having played at this level, never having played doubleheaders. Boy, where was that?
Looked like a nice pitch.
Wow. That was a fine-looking pitch there. But apparently umpire Mike Burke saw things differently.
Wow. There was another one. I'll call it that time. That looked pretty good.
It sure did. It looked like it caught the knees. It was definitely over the plate.
And I know I'm not an umpire, but when it's 10-2, don't you start calling strikes a little bit more plentiful than when it's 2-2?
And there's a pop-up down the left field line, out of play. There's a fair amount of foul territory in left. There's a lot more in right. And we just got a report on our camera guy, Garrett Quinn, who was struck by the foul ball. Apparently, he's going to be all right, but he's going to have a bruise on his thigh. Took a shot off his thigh. There's a base hit to lead off the inning for Stevenson by Garrett Seitz.
That's Seitz' second hit of the game.
And there you see the replay. Solid single to center to get things going here in the top of the sixth for Stevenson. That brings up number 23, Kevin Wu, the center fielder. So Alex Enderle is in for Montgomery College pitching. He's a freshman. He is, I believe, the only out-of-state guy on the team. He's from Pennsylvania. Actually from Malvern, Pennsylvania. And as you can see, went to Great Valley High School, and he's a business administration major. So a lot of freshmen getting playing time today for Montgomery College. Here's pitch, ground ball, third base, goes to second for one. Ooh. That's the first miscue of the day for Max Heldman.
Yeah, I think Max tried to turn that double play before he actually had the lead runner at second.
Yep, he had thoughts of a double play.
He picked his head up and didn't have the ball in the glove yet.
And that would have been a tough double play to turn because the ball was not hit that hard to third.
It was a slow ground ball. It would have been tough to turn. At 10-2, and I'm not Max's coach. Coach Rasher is 10-2. Make sure you get that lead runner.
Yeah, that's the most important runner. And that's high ball one to number 15, Ian Eberle. He's played both halves of the doubleheader at first base. And he's from down there in James Madison country at Harrisonburg, Virginia. Little conversation here between Enderle and McMahon.
Eberle's got a hit and a stolen base today for the Mustangs.
This is a guy that they're trying to convert into a first baseman. And that's the reason that he's normally an outfielder, and they're moving him into. They want him to play first because they need the backup there with the big club. So that's the reason he's playing today.
And he's a natural lefty too,
right?
Which bodes well for the first baseman.
Yep. Top of the sixth. Wind has picked up quite a bit. And now we have the bases loaded with nobody out. And this is exactly what Dan Rasher did not want to see.
Yeah, I don't think anybody out here but maybe the Stevenson side wanted to see this.
And they do have a contingent of fans here. Of course, Stevenson not that far away, as Dan Rasher is going to pay a visit to the mound. And here's where we get the, I wanted you to throw strikes lecture. What is it about the word strikes that you did not understand? Of course, I got to say, he's been squeezed a little bit by home plate umpire Mike Burke.
He lost Eberly. He didn't make good pitches to Eberly, but yeah, he has been squeezed, and they had an error. They should have had the lead runner on that play at second base because he induced a weak ground ball. And if you're ever going to get a double play, Schaefer actually hit into a 6-4-3 double play in his first at bat. So now's another time.
There's a good pitch, but he rockets it right up the middle for a base hit. Here comes the throw into second. Boy, they almost got him at second base.
They did almost force him at second.
The ball got out there so quickly, and Turlick was right on it. And that ball just got out there quick. And then Turlick heads up. Boy, that was close.
I think Turlick might have decoyed him a bit, putting the glove up like he was going to catch it.
Anyway, that plate's a run, and the bases are still loaded. And it's 10-3. There's a ground ball to second. Heldman shovels it to, and they get them both. Nope, take that back. He is safe. He is safe. That plate's another run. Yep, close, but they called him safe. And there's a ground ball to short. I'm sorry. And there is the second out. So all of a sudden now, Enderle settling down.
And he made a very, very heady play for a freshman. Didn't even worry about the force at second. He turned and he threw to first base. Don't worry about the guy at second. When you're up 10-4 in the sixth, you want an out.
So they still have runners on second and third, and of course their best hitter, Matt Myers, up right now. So he's not out of it yet, but he's getting there. Ooh, that's not going to help, as a run scores on a wild pitch. That's got to be a wild pitch. Yep, that bounced in front of the plate.
Yeah, Enderle wants that pitch back. He was upset with himself.
Williams grounds it to short. Going to be a tough play. Long throw. And another run scores as Taylor's pulled off the bag. Kuzarski did a nice job of digging it out of the hole, but that was an awfully long throw.
Oh, yeah. If you go to the backhand way in the hole, I mean, the only thing you can really do is one of those patented Derek Jeter jump throws, but the ball was hit way too slow.
So that makes it 10-6. A 4-run inning so far for Stevenson. And that had a parking lot.
Yeah, that had a windshield written all over it.
Yep, it sure did. It sure did. Came slicing off the bat. Hopefully nobody's car got hit.
And Carlinio has 2 singles, so he's not really a guy that the Raptors want to see up at the plate right now.
But Enderle ahead in the count, 0-2. 2 outs. Just a bit outside. Right to the target. They were trying to get the batter to go fishing a little bit on an outside pitch, but he was not tempted. There's a shot up the middle off the glove of Hellman. Nice attempt. Can't pull it down. And that puts runners on first and third. So the inning continues for Stevenson.
Nice piece of hitting by Carlinio.
That's his 3rd hit of the game. It's a line shot up the middle. Nice diving try
Heldman almost had it. Heldman almost made the play of the game right there.
Boy, if he had come up with that, that certainly would have been. It caromed off his glove and out into center, so another run scores.
And now you got your heavy hitters coming up with Davis Grove, the DH. And then the big lefty up behind him, Garrett Seitz.
Throw to first, back easily. Two outs in the inning. And that's a strike.
There's been some big innings in this doubleheader today.
First game was like that. We had a 4-run inning by Stevenson, a 5-run inning by Montgomery College. And there's strike 3. And that ends the inning. And Davis Grove is not happy, and he's talking to the umpire as he walks back to the dugout. He is not happy. And so anyway, at the end of 5.5 innings, Stevenson creeps a little closer, but Montgomery College still holds a 10-6 lead. And you know, Marcus, let's go back to my recent visit with some of the MC baseball players. One of the other things that I asked them was what they liked most about playing ball at MC, and I've really got some great answers here.
It's definitely taught me discipline because, you know, high school you could skate by like in your classes, you know, and then it was like maybe like 3 or 4 hours after school, and then you got to hit the books. But now it's a lot of, it's like 2 or 3 hour practice, and then you go lift weights. I mean, that's not a team thing, but you know, when you're in college, to be competitive, you kind of have to build your strength up with a lot of bigger guys, you know, to compete. And then all the rest of the time you have mostly has to be devoted to schoolwork. And lately, I've been working on college apps too. So, you know, that's another piece that I've been trying to fit in.
I think just the whole aspect of hard work paying off, and you know, baseball more than anything is kind of an everyday thing. We play so many games. You just show up every day, go about your work, you know, the right way, and just hard work and consistency and how that pays off, I think, is what baseball here has taught me the most.
Well, I tell you, these guys, they're learning more than baseball when they play sports at this level. They're learning a lot of life lessons too, Marcus.
And like he said, hard work pays off, whether it be in the classroom or on the field, or both. The hard work in the classroom, you have to get accepted to a college at the next level, because your home runs and your fastball isn't going to get you accepted to a college. Okay, there's, you know, I don't. It doesn't matter how many Jake Taylor, you know, moonshots he hits. You know, you got to put the hard work in the classroom to get accepted, and they know that. And they've got a lot on their plate, these young guys. But you're only 18, 19 once, and they'll, you know, in 20 years when they're old guys like us, they'll be able to look back and say those are some of the best times in our life.
Well, that's for sure. These guys are having a ball, but they are working hard. I mean, they put a lot of time in, and the time management aspect that Max Heldman referred to is very important also, because playing sports at this level is a big commitment. And
we got the shortstop Schaefer on the mound for the Mustangs now.
So a new pitcher. This time it's Schaefer. And he's done a fine job at short.
And that's a nice curveball.
Boy, and he rung up Nick Kuzarski with that one. That brings up Joe Coleman. And he's had a fine game. And 10-6, Montgomery College on top.
Okay, what's your prediction? Is he going to bring Enderle back out for the 7th inning?
Yeah, he had a pretty rough inning.
We can't see the bullpen from here. That's why we're guessing.
And there's a called strike. You know, that's a good question. Now, that 4 spot that Stevenson put up, that was not completely Alex Enderle's issue. I mean, there were a couple of errors behind him in the field, a little bit of a squeeze strike zone. There's a shot to short. And Coleman is thrown out.
I guess you got to give him the chance. He wants Enderle to get innings. I mean, that's the name of the game today.
Tom Connell is in at shortstop. Tom Connell pitched in the first game. So he's playing shortstop. He came in for to play shortstop in this inning, replacing Schaefer. So that brings up Max Heldman. Definitely been one of the stars on the day for Montgomery College. Plus, we've heard from Heldman quite a bit in some of the little features that we've played between innings, and as you can tell, he's a very thoughtful, intelligent guy, as are the majority of this team. Very impressed with these guys. Bottom of the 6th inning, Montgomery College enjoying a 10-6 lead. They won the opener 7-5, so they're going for the sweep today.
And if Max Heldman gets on, we got one more chance to watch Jake Taylor hit another home run out.
Well, we're hoping for that. And there's Max Heldman, and he's going to get extra bases out of that one. He's got a double on his mind, and he pulls into second with a double.
Nice piece of hit, and just went with it into the gap in right center field.
There he goes. Just went right with the pitch and rode it into the gap. Easy double, stand-up double. He was thinking double all the way. He took that big turn around first. And here's Jake Taylor.
And if I'm Schaefer, I'm probably rolling the ball to Taylor, put him on first base. But then again, look who's behind him.
Yeah.
Number 22, Mr. Turlick,
who hit a
moonshot
too.
Yeah, he hit a home run.
Yeah. So lots of power on display by Montgomery College today.
And that's great. It's pick your poison to a point, and that's what you need.
And that's something that MC has not had in the last couple of years, was a big power hitter. Last year's team was very much, and the year before for that matter, pretty much small ball teams. And but with Jake Taylor in there and Turlick and
Taylor almost got hit in the ankle by that Schaefer pitch and didn't like it at all.
No.
He peered out at Schaefer saying, "Come on, man, if you want to walk me, just send me down to first base with a couple of outside."
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
That's not a smart play by Schaefer.
No. That was just blatantly obvious that he hit him on purpose. And I'm telling you, folks, there's no place for that in baseball.
And the kid should actually be warned by the umpire, and I don't think the umpire said anything to him. But he didn't want to pitch to Jake Taylor. Jake Taylor's been hitting the heck out of the ball today, so he drilled him in the back, which we've seen it in major leagues over the last couple of weeks. It's ridiculous. It's a great way to get somebody really hurt. I mean, Jake's not going to be hurt by getting hit in the back, but if there's a fight out there, then somebody's going to get hurt. So that's a ridiculous play by Schaefer.
Yeah, and let's keep in mind his first pitch almost hit him in the ankle. So I guess he decided to go for a bigger target. And that ends the inning as Turlick flies out to end the 6th inning after 6 complete. Montgomery College on top 10-6. And we will be right back with the top half of the 7th inning after this.
Whether you're a recent high school graduate, career-changing adult, or seeking professional or personal development, Montgomery College has what you're looking for. We offer more than 130 programs of study as well as workforce development and continuing education to prepare you for a rewarding future. Take advantage of our small class sizes, award-winning faculty, and flexible scheduling. Evening, weekend, and online classes offered. Apply today. Montgomery College, endless possibilities. 240-567-5000.
Check out more Montgomery College programming at youtube.com/Montgomery College.
And welcome back. We are ready for the top half of the 7th inning. We're looking at Jake Taylor over there, who normally very happy, smiling guy, but I think he's a little bit upset after getting beaned there in the top half of the 7th inning, Marcus.
He's gotten he got hit or almost hit earlier in the game, and in the pitch before he got drilled between the numbers, he almost got hit in the ankles. And with first base open, and it's a 10-6 game, and the guy in front of him doubled, Max Heldman, and he had first base open. So naturally, the best hitter on the team is coming up. He's already hit some huge shots today, and you just want to pitch to him in a sense of not giving him anything to drive 450 feet. So just pitch around him. But instead, Nick Schaefer hit him in the back. And again, we can say it 1,000 times, but that's not the best way to keep you and your teammates safe out here.
No, it's really not, because guess what? The other team has a pitcher too. And by the way, that pitcher for Montgomery College is number 8, and that is Jackson Souter. Jack Souter, brand new pitcher. And we're actually glad to see Jack. He has been on the injured list with a sore elbow, and I wasn't sure we'd see him. But he is back out there, and that's great to see him, and hopefully his elbow is feeling better. Jack is a sophomore out of Pallotti High School. He was on the team last year, general studies major, and they were really hoping on that Jack would be one of their key starters this year, but he's been battling that injury bug, and has only been able to appear in 4 games this year. He's got 1 win and 1 loss, got a fine ERA of 2.75, but he's only been able to throw 19.2 innings so far this year because of the injury issue. But this is normally one of their starting pitchers, so they're working him back in, giving him an inning here to see how the elbow holds up. I'm sure that's the thinking here. And
not to belabor the point, but I hope he takes the high road and doesn't plunk a kid from Stevenson.
My guess is he will. I don't see Dan Rasher playing that kind of baseball. I'd be sort of surprised.
I was very surprised to see Schaefer come off the mound and get a handshake from his head coach when he came to the dugout, which I think I would have given him a talking to, but he got a handshake.
I missed that. That's interesting. That's interesting.
It's 10-6, so you can't really fool around with putting a guy. I mean, we've seen 5s and 4s put up on that scoreboard all day today, so we don't really want to see that as well. So
right.
So I guess just going at them and playing regular baseball, not beanball, is the best way to go if you're from the Raptors side.
No, at this point they don't want base runners. They don't want to give them any hope. Just go after the hitter. There's a fly ball out into the gap, and that's going to drop for extra bases. Coleman runs it down, gets it back in pretty good order, but that's a leadoff double for number 24, Garrett Seitz, who's had a good game today. So this thing is not over, as the leadoff hitter is in scoring position. That brings up Kevin Wu. And Souter will now be pitching out of the stretch.
Kevin Wu has yet to get a hit today in Game 2.
So Jack Souter, coming back off an elbow injury, had an MRI. Doctor told him he might miss a couple of weeks, but here he is.
He's got good numbers this year too.
Yeah. Yeah, he's helped them. 2.75 ERA, 1 win, 1 loss on the season. And that's the first out of the inning. So that brings up number 15, Ian Eberle. One out, man on second, top of the 7th inning. Just a reminder, we are playing a doubleheader, so this is Stevenson's last chance. If they do not tie the ball game or go ahead, the game is over. At this level, when you play a doubleheader, both games are 7 innings. And Jackson Souter, another one of those Pilati kids that we were talking about. There's 2 or 3 Pilati grads on the MC team. They have a good baseball program over there. Historically, been a good baseball program. Balls, no strikes. Here's the pitch. Pops him up. Third baseman McWilliams has it in fair territory. So that's 2 outs.
Well, that brings up Nick Schaefer with first base open for Jack Souter.
Well, this could be interesting. Nick Schaefer, of course, beamed Big Jake Taylor last inning. We'll see what happens. If I'm Montgomery College, I'm going for the out here.
Just throw the ball over the plate.
Big curveball.
And Mr. Schaefer took a quick step back when he saw that ball come out of out of his hand. It was a sweeping curveball, but when you have how many tenths of a second to decide?
And he hits one out into left field, and that may score a run. Here comes the runner. Here's the throw. Oh, it's pretty close.
Yeah, Shook really made a nice play out in left field to make a play at home, but I think McMahon couldn't get the short hop.
No, that was a tough play for McMahon. But Shook, yeah, nice job cutting it off. Accurate throw. But yeah, that was a tough short hop.
Tough play.
So that cuts the lead to 10-7, and there's a pop-up. This brings up Pappas, and he is could be the final hope here for Stevenson. 2 outs, top of the 7th. Montgomery College on top. 10-7, and Marcus, we need to start thinking about our player of the game here.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for a couple of innings here.
We've got a couple of worthy candidates, I'd say. We probably have 2 or 3 worthy candidates at least.
I mean, Turlick hit a long ball. Taylor's been just being Taylor.
Yep, had a home run and a double, 2-run double and a home run in the first for 3 RBIs. Max Heldman's had a very fine game, but I'm kind of leading towards the starting pitcher for Montgomery College in this one.
I'm with you. He seemed to be the steadying force, settling everybody down after the rough first couple of innings, and he gave Rasher what he wanted, and that was innings.
Yeah, they were hoping for that, and that's what they got. He turned in 5 strong innings. Like you said, he had a little bit of a rough start, but he really settled down and put 3 goose eggs up there in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th inning to really stabilize the game for Montgomery College. So I think our player of the game is going to be starting pitcher J.P. Hoover.
Good choice.
Ooh, he thought he had strike 3. He thought he had the end of the game, and he started walking towards the dugout.
The center fielder started walking in. The shortstop started walking in. I stood up.
And there's strike 3. And that is the end of the ball game with Montgomery College coming out on top 10-7. They sweep the doubleheader over the Stevenson University Mustangs. And once again, once again, our player of the game in the second game of our doubleheader is the starting pitcher, J.P. Hoover, number 10, a sophomore out of Richard Montgomery High School. Did a great job eating up some innings for Montgomery College, and well deserves the player of the game award there for Montgomery College. Our player of the game in the first game, just as a reminder, was Jake Taylor. So as the teams congratulate each other, which is kind of a nice tradition to see, Montgomery College happily takes 2 wins today. That improves their season record to 28-13. So they are now 28-13 on the season, and they're heading into another week where they've got a lot of tough games ahead,
including Hagerstown on Tuesday.
And we're going to be here for that Hagerstown game. It's going to be a very special game. It's going to be the Duck Lee dedication game, and we can't wait to do that. And we're going to come right back with some final thoughts and a little more baseball talk after this quick break. Once again, our final score, Montgomery College 10, Stevenson 7.
Like us on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/Montgomery College TV.
And once again, our final score from the Germantown campus of Montgomery College. Montgomery College takes both ends of the doubleheader. They win the opener 7-5, and they win the nightcap 10-7. And it was a sort of a rough set of games for Montgomery College.
It wasn't pretty, Michael. The first game it was 7-5, but the seventh inning really got away from Montgomery College, and Dan Rasher is going to go and he's going to tell the guys, listen, we need to do the little things to win baseball games, and that's fielding. That's not issuing bases on balls. That's base running blunders, and some of those things actually reared their ugly heads late in the game in Game 1. It opened up Game 2 sort of like that, and he went out there and he had a little chit chat with the guys, and they seemed to settle in. But I think one of the calming forces was J.P. Hoover on the mound.
Yeah, he started out. They had a little bit of a rough go there at the beginning of the second game. It was a little bit of wildness on Hoover's part. He was having a little trouble finding the strike zone, but it was really more the fielding miscues that were hounding them. Rasher went out there. You want to call it a little chit-chat? Yeah, you could call it a little chit-chat. It was an intense chit-chat. And then all of a sudden, Hoover settled down, got out of that inning, and then put up 3 goose eggs after that to pitch 5 strong and put them in position to win.
And in between, you had a long home run from Jake Taylor that actually tied the game at one point in the bottom of the first inning. And then you had a long double, I think it was, by Taylor that almost went out. And then that was followed up by Greg Turlick's long home run. So the sluggers came out, and one thing that's going to calm everybody down is when you hit the ball over the fence, and that's what happened today.
Well, they hit Taylor hit a laser shot in the first game, a bomb in the second game, and then Turlick with a great home run there to follow up the double by Taylor. That really put the icing on the cake. And then the pitchers came in, and they did the job. They did what they had to do. Montgomery College then ended up winning both games of the doubleheader.
And we can't talk about winning both games of the doubleheader without talking about the Game 1 winning pitcher in Colin Cox. He pitched excellent in Game 1.
Pitched a complete game and got the win for Montgomery College. Really gave him the kind of outing that they had been looking for out of him. And he continued his fine season. Colin Cox with the best ERA on the team. Didn't give up many earned runs today. The runs they got off of him were unearned.
You're right, and he wasn't helped out a lot in the field, but he was a calming force. He mixed his pitches up a little bit. He had a nice curveball working today, and he kept Stevenson off balance. And again, we talked about it all game. Those are four-year school guys out there. Those are real college baseball players, and he pretty much controlled them the entire game.
Well, that's for sure. These guys are scholarship players. They came up here. I don't think they expected to lose 2 games to a 2-year school, but that's what happened today as Montgomery College once again takes both halves of the doubleheader. They won the opener 7-5. They take the nightcap 10-7. And we're going to be right back here on Tuesday when we cover the Montgomery College Hagerstown game. Can't wait for that one. It's going to be Duck Lee's day here at Montgomery College. So we can't wait for that. Until then, for Marcus Rosano, for everybody on the hardworking MCTV crew, we really appreciate you watching. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.